An American national named Sarah had traveled from the United States to South Africa to experience the thrill of shark cage diving in Gansbaai. It was a dream she had harbored for years, and now, on a sunny morning off the coast of this picturesque town, her dream was about to become a reality. The boat bobbed gently on the tranquil waters as Sarah and a small group of fellow thrill-seekers listened intently to the marine biologist leading their expedition. His was Dr. Mark Turner, a seasoned shark behavior and conservation expert. Sarah had a mix of joy and dread as the briefing ended. Being that close to one of the ocean's most ferocious predators was thrilling and unsettling at the same time. She put on her wetsuit and entered the cage, her pulse pounding excitedly. The cage was dropped into the pristine waters, providing a glimpse of the underwater environment. The sun's rays could penetrate the sea and generate an ethereal glow because of the superb visibility. She saw groups of fish darting past and the occasional shadow of a shark out in the distance, which made it seem strange. As the group waited in the cage, searching the depths for any indication of the elusive great white, time seemed to drag on. Sarah's breath grew faster with each passing second as she experienced awe and dread. Everyone in the cage had a tangible sense of wonder and fear. Then, suddenly, it took place. In the distance, a large shadow traveling quickly through the water appeared large. Dr. Turner's voice informed the crew of the oncoming shark as it crackled through the communication system. The onlookers in the cage were visibly excited, their cameras ready to record the magnificent animal. Everyone was in awe when the great white shark surfaced from the depths due to its immense size and strength. It was a wonderful specimen, its muscular, slender body sliding through the water easily. It circled the cage, its icy black eyes fixed on the curious outsiders invading its territory. Rows of serrated fangs glistened menacingly as it did so. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as the shark drew nearer, its movements fluid and deliberate. She had read about these apex predators, watched documentaries, and seen countless images, but nothing could have prepared her for the sheer presence of a great white in the wild. As the shark circled closer, fear and fascination gripped the cage viewers. Dr. Turner's voice remained calm and reassuring, providing valuable insights into the shark's behavior and the precautions taken to ensure their safety. The cage itself was constructed with sturdy bars and reinforced steel, designed to withstand the immense power of a great white bite. But just as the group relaxed into the mesmerizing spectacle before them, a sudden change in the shark's demeanor sent panic through the cage. The great white's graceful circle turned into a rapid charge, and before anyone could react, it collided with the cage with explosive force. The impact reverberated through the cage, jolting the occupants within. Sarah felt the cage shudder as the massive shark thrashed against the bars, its mighty jaws snapping menacingly. Panic coursed through her veins as she watched the creature's predatory instincts take over. With years of experience serving him well, Dr. Turner immediately initiated emergency procedures. He activated the winch, causing the cage to be pulled swiftly above the water's surface. The cage viewers, terror etched on their faces, clung to the sides of the cage as it ascended, leaving the enraged shark behind in the depths. The cage was hoisted onto the boat, and the passengers clambered out, their legs shaking from the encounter. Dr. Turner immediately began to assess the situation, checking for any injuries or signs of trauma among the group. Fortunately, everyone appeared to be physically unharmed, but the emotional scars of the encounter would linger. As the adrenaline subsided, a sense of awe and gratitude washed over the cage viewers. They had met with one of nature's most formidable predators and lived to tell the tale. The memory of the shark's fierce attack would forever be etched in their minds, a testament to the raw power and beauty of the ocean's inhabitants. Dr. Turner took the opportunity to explain that the shark's behavior, while startling, was not necessarily aggressive. Great whites often investigated objects in their environment with their powerful jaws, relying on their acute senses to determine if something was prey. In this case, the shark had been curious but had not displayed any true aggression. The group, their initial shock giving way to a deeper appreciation for the ocean and its inhabitants, listened intently to Dr. Turner's insights. He emphasized the importance of responsible shark tourism in raising awareness and funds for shark conservation efforts. As the boat returned to the shore, the cage viewers exchanged stories and reflections on their close encounters with the great white shark. Sarah couldn't help but feel a profound respect for these magnificent creatures, and a deep gratitude for the marine biologist who had guided them safely through the encounter. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow over the ocean. The group returned to the shore, their hearts and minds forever changed by the day's events. Sarah, in particular, knew that she would carry the memory of the great white shark's breathtaking presence with her for the rest of her life. Kate had spent years traveling through Alaska's untamed wilderness. She was a skilled wilderness guide who was regarded for her understanding of the area's natural splendor. She couldn't resist the attraction of the challenge when a group of daring kayakers reached out to her for an excursion in Abbas Bay. Abbas Bay, a lonely and breathtaking region of Alaska, was well known for its crystal-clear seas, massive glaciers, and abundant marine life. It was a distinctive and risky location due to the great white shark population frequenting the frigid waters. The group consisted of 5 kayakers, each with varying levels of experience. Kate had carefully briefed them on the risks and precautions of kayaking in shark-infested waters. They were equipped with specialized sea kayaks for stability and safety in unpredictable conditions. Abbas Bay's splendor was all around them as they went out on a cool Alaskan morning. The gorgeous glaciers shone in the distance, and the frigid waters glistened with surreal blue color. Kate took the lead, effortlessly navigating her kayak through the chilly water. Awestruck by the enormous cliffs and the sporadic sightings of seals and otters, the group followed closely. After several hours of their journey, they noticed something peculiar in the water as they paddled along the rocky shoreline. Belonging to a big white shark, a dorsal fin slashed through the water. It was an incredible beast intrigued by the people who had entered its habitat. Kate calmly instructed the group to stay still and avoid sudden movements. She knew that panicking or provoking the shark could be disastrous. The massive predator circled their kayaks, its dark eyes fixated on them. The kayakers held their breath, their hearts pounding as they watched the graceful but deadly predator. The shark suddenly pushed forward and brushed into one of the kayaks. It was sufficiently knocked over for its occupant to fall into the chilly water when the group noticed their colleague battling to stay afloat while in the water. Panic broke out among them. Kate took command right away, yelling directives to the group. They pulled them aboard a secure kayak as they approached their lost companion. However, their joy was fleeting as the great white circled, becoming bolder with each pass. The gang had a difficult task ahead of them because one of their kayaks had capsized, and one was hurt. Abbas Bay was harsh, but they had to get to civilization. The frigid seas might cause hypothermia in a matter of minutes, and the hazardous terrain along the shore made navigating challenging. They created a strategy. They connected their kayaks with a tow line to give them stability and a sense of unity. Kate took the initiative and used her understanding of the bay's currents to direct them towards an adjacent island. Time was of the essence as the injured kayakers' health deteriorated. As they paddled, the harsh reality of their situation sank in. The waters were numbingly cold and their soaked clothing offered little protection. The island became farther and farther away as the hours went by. Even though they were exhausted, the group persisted. Despite the great white shark's constant presence, they stayed on course because of Kate's leadership and perseverance. After a battle of half an hour, they succeeded in reaching the island. It was a tiny stone outcrop devoid of any indications of past settlement. Although they badly wanted to warm themselves and tend to their injured buddy, it protected them from the wind. They collected driftwood from the island, made a fire, and cuddled close to one another to stay warm. Although the injured kayakers' condition improved, they knew they couldn't remain on the island long. They needed help. Kate considered the possibilities. The great white shark continued to stalk the waters near the island even though they were still far from town. Paddling to the mainland where they may receive help was their best option. They departed the next day with unwavering resolve. Finally, they made it over the freezing waters with Kate's assistance and to land. They eventually encountered some neighborhood fishermen who gave them much-needed assistance despite their exhaustion and coldness. They couldn't help but experience a mixture of admiration and amazement as they turned to look back at Abbas Bay from the safety of the mainland. The run-in with the great white shark served as a sobering reminder of nature's might and unpredictable wildlife. Hazel Brown had been counting down the days to her 18th birthday for as long as she could remember. It was a significant milestone in her young life, and she wanted to celebrate it in a way that would be etched in her memory forever. With her family's support, she decided to throw a party on the beautiful Paldona Island, a picturesque spot off the coast of Mexico. Hazel had invited all her closest school friends to join her on this adventure, and they were eager to make it a night to remember. The friends arrived on the island in the early afternoon, their laughter and excitement echoing. They wasted no time setting up their campsite, pitching tents, and gathering firewood for a campfire. The aroma of steak sizzling on the barbecue grill filled the air, and the sound of music from a portable speaker set the tone for the festivities ahead. Hazel and her friends danced around the campfire, their laughter and joyful shouts blending with the crackling of the flames. It was a night of celebration, friendship, and youthful exuberance. As the hours went by and the moon rose higher in the sky, some of Hazel's pals started to talk about wanting to go swimming at night in the cool, enticing waters of the island. Hazel, who had always been a proficient and assured swimmer, consented to take the lead. She had won the title of American swimming competition champion only a year before, demonstrating her skill in the water. The friends donned their swimsuits and made their way to the shore, their voices hushed in reverence for the tranquil beauty of the night. The scene was enchanting, and Hazel felt a sense of contentment wash over her as she waded into the water, her friends following suit. However, the tranquility of the night was suddenly shattered by a disturbance in the water. A massive shadow moved beneath the surface, causing ripples to fan out in all directions. Hazel's instincts kicked in, and she turned her attention to the source of the disturbance. Her heart sank as she realized the enormity of their danger. A great white shark, one of the ocean's most fearsome predators, had surfaced and circled them. Its dorsal fin was like a dagger cutting through the water, and its lifeless, icy eyes were fixed on the group of swimmers. Hazel's pulse raced as she became aware of the danger they were facing, but she knew she needed to maintain her composure. The shark started to circle more intently, like it was assessing its potential victim. Hazel understood they had to act swiftly and decisively to survive this lethal encounter. As she carefully swam back to shore while keeping her eyes on the shark, she signaled her friends to stick together. While their hearts were thumping in their chests, the buddies followed Hazel's example. The ocean had changed from a place to frolic to a place where fear gripped people. The shark's movements became more ferocious as it quickly and terrifyingly drew closer to the swimmers. Hazel's mind raced as she calculated the risks and weighed their options. She knew outswimming the shark in open water was nearly impossible, but the shore was tantalizingly close. With every stroke, they drew nearer to safety, but the relentless predator was gaining ground. In a heart-stopping moment, the shark lunged forward, its massive jaws snapping shut just inches from the last swimmer in the group. Hazel watched in horror as the water churned with the force of the attack. But miraculously, her friend had managed to evade the deadly bite. With renewed determination, the group redoubled their efforts, their arms and legs propelling them through the water with all the strength they could muster. The shark continued to pursue, its powerful tail thrashing the water in a relentless pursuit of its prey. The shore was agonizingly close now, a sanctuary from the relentless predator that pursued them. Hazel and her friends could almost taste the safety awaiting them on the rocky beach. The waves seemed to swell and surge as if nature conspired to keep the shark at bay. But as they approached the shallows and success appeared within reach, the shark launched a frantic last lunge. One of Hazel's friends yelled out in agony and terror as its enormous teeth wrapped around his ankle. The water turned blood red as the shark thrashed and clung on tight. Hazel's heartache was palpable as she watched her friend struggle. At that moment, she made a split-second decision that would forever haunt her. She delivered a powerful blow to the shark's snout with all the strength she could muster, stunning it momentarily. It was enough to free her friend, who scrambled to the safety of the shore, bloodied but alive. Hazel barely escaped the predator's grasp, her body shattered by the encounter. As she reached the shore, she collapsed onto the rocky beach, gasping for breath. Her friends rushed to her side, their faces etched with relief and gratitude. The great white shark, defeated and wounded, retreated into the ocean's depths, disappearing into the darkness from where it came. The night was once again calm and serene, as if the harrowing encounter had been nothing more than a nightmare. Hazel's friend, though injured, would recover, and the group clung to each other in the aftermath of their ordeal. Their youthful adventure had turned into a life-altering experience, a reminder of the fragility of life and the primal forces of nature that could intrude on even the most idyllic of moments. As a result of their interaction, news of the great white shark's existence in the area's waters quickly traveled throughout the island. For the protection of the island's residents as well as other swimmers, authorities took necessary measures. Hazel Brown's 18th birthday celebration had become unforgettable, but not as she had initially envisioned. It had become a night of survival, courage, and a deep appreciation for the preciousness of life. Hazel had faced the jaws of a great white shark and emerged from the encounter not only as a champion swimmer, but as a symbol of unwavering determination and the unbreakable bond of friendship. Yekaterina Petrov had always been a fearless soul, born and raised in the rugged wilderness of the Yakutat shore in Alaska. Her family's roots ran deep in this remote coastal town, where they had lived for 3 generations, learning to coexist with the untamed forces of nature. At 23, she was a young woman of great courage and resilience, shaped by a life of survival in the wild. It was a bright July morning in 1992 when Yekaterina decided to venture out into the vast expanse of the ocean to catch some fish. The temperature was a mild 16 degrees Celsius, making it a perfect day for fishing. She grabbed her fishing net, a tool passed down through generations, and headed towards the shore. The salt-laden breeze ruffled her hair as she approached the rocky coast, her heart filled with anticipation. She cast her net into the ocean with expert precision, allowing it to sink beneath the surface. The icy waters of the North Pacific were her playground, and she reveled in the moment's serenity. Stripping down to her swimsuit, she enjoyed a refreshing swim while waiting for her net to yield its bounty. The cold water enveloped her, and Yekaterina gracefully glided through the depths, her body perfectly attuned to the rhythm of the ocean. The tranquility of the underwater world was her sanctuary, and she marveled at the vibrant marine life surrounding her. Rays of sunlight pierced through the surface, casting an ethereal glow on the coral formations below. But in an instant, the peaceful serenity was shattered. A primal instinct honed over years of living in the wild sent chills down her spine. Yekaterina's heart raced as she turned to face the source of her dread. Emerging from the depths like an ancient leviathan, a massive great white shark materialized before her. The predator was awe-inspiring, its sleek, powerful body gliding effortlessly through the water. Rows of razor-sharp teeth glistened menacingly in the dappled sunlight. Panic threatened to consume Yekaterina, but her survival instincts kicked in with a force born of a lifetime of living on the edge. She knew that sudden movements would only provoke the shark, so she stayed as still as possible, her lungs screaming for air. The creature circled her, its cold, lifeless eyes fixated on her every move. Yekaterina's thoughts raced as she contemplated her options. She started swimming cautiously toward the surface while watching the shark's unwavering attention. The ocean seemed to be holding its breath due to the tension in the water. She struggled to keep her composure, and every second seemed to last forever. Just as Yekaterina neared the surface, disaster struck. Her foot brushed against a loose piece of kelp, and the slight disturbance in the water caught the shark's attention. It lunged toward her in a flash, its immense jaws agape, teeth gleaming with deadly intent. Time seemed to slow as Yekaterina's training and survival instincts took over. She twisted to the side with a burst of speed, narrowly avoiding the gaping maw that threatened to engulf her. She could feel the shark's hot breath and the brush of its rough skin against her leg as she narrowly escaped its deadly embrace. The battle for survival had begun in earnest. Yekaterina knew she couldn't outswim the shark in the open water, so she made a desperate dash for the nearest rocky outcrop, her heart pounding. The shark pursued relentlessly, its powerful tail propelling it through the water with terrifying speed. As Yekaterina reached the safety of the rocks, the shark lunged again, its jaws snapping shut just inches from her feet. She scrambled onto the rocks, her heart in her throat, and watched as the relentless predator circled below, waiting for its opportunity to strike. Yekaterina clung to the rocky refuge for hours, her body trembling with exhaustion and fear. The shark remained a constant, ominous presence in the water below, a relentless guardian of its territory. She knew she couldn't stay on the rocks forever, and her thoughts turned to her family in the nearby town. Yekaterina eventually decided to flee after summoning all of her bravery. She precisely re-entered the water, moving as silently as a shadow. The shark approached for the kill after detecting her exit. The shark closed the distance between them as Yekaterina swam with all her strength. Its powerful tail thrashed the water, closing in on its quarry. The tension in the water was unbearable, the predator and prey locked in a deadly dance. Yekaterina grabbed into her backpack and pulled out a piece of long, jagged driftwood as an improvised weapon in her desperate attempt to survive. She wielded it with the tenacity of a survivor, prepared to defend her life. Unaffected, the shark proceeded in its relentless chase. With a burst of adrenaline-fueled strength, Yekaterina turned and faced the oncoming predator. The shark lunged, its massive jaws aimed at her once again. She thrust the makeshift weapon with all her might in that split second. The driftwood pierced the shark's eye. Blood clouded the water as the wounded beast thrashed in agony. Yekaterina seized the opportunity and swam with every ounce of strength she had left, putting as much distance as possible between her and the wounded shark. Miraculously, she returned to the shore, her body tired and battered, but her spirit unbroken. Gasping for breath, she stumbled onto the rocky beach, leaving a trail of bloody footprints in her wake. She finally reached home. Yekaterina's family rushed to her side, their faces a mixture of relief and horror as they saw the extent of her injuries. They quickly tended to her wounds and listened in awe as she recounted her harrowing encounter with the great white shark. Word of Yekaterina's bravery spread throughout the coastal town, and the authorities were alerted to the shark's presence in their waters. They took immediate action to ensure the safety of the townspeople, implementing measures to monitor and protect against further shark attacks. Yekaterina's incredible tale of survival became a legend in the town, a testament to the indomitable human spirit and the power of courage in the face of impossible odds. She had faced one of the ocean's most fearsome predators and lived to tell the tale, a testament to her unwavering determination and the strength forged through a lifetime of survival in the wild. Ultimately, Yekaterina Petrov's name would come to represent bravery, tenacity, and the wild beauty and danger of the Alaskan coast off Yakutat. Everyone who heard her story would be reminded that the human spirit could prevail in the wild and life despite overwhelming odds.